Hello everybody and welcome back to my humble abode. So I'm just sitting here with my big headphones. Just ignore the headphones. I wanted better sound quality and I left my earbuds at school. I went to go find my other ones, my brand sparkling new earbuds that I got with my lovely iPhone 7 a couple months ago, and realized, well, you know how the iPhone 7 doesn't have a headphone jack. It just has the headphones that have the same plug-in as the charger, which there's no iPhone charger plug-in on my computer, so my earbuds are useless, so headphones. Anyway, so now I am finally getting to the video I said I would make since I got to Korea. The differences between being an exchange student in Korea versus being an English teacher in Korea. Since I know a lot of exchange students, a lot of people who are exchange students in Korea might want to come back to teach English when they graduate, as I did. And so I thought I'd just go over the differences and what you can expect in being in Korea your second time, or maybe third time, fourth time, I don't know. Being in Korea when you're not a part of the university student life, when you're just a teacher. So there are a lot more differences than I expected. Like, I thought I learned so much about Korean culture when I studied abroad here, and I thought I was just like not really an expert, because you can't really be an expert at a culture after 3 or 4 months, but I thought I was like, you know, I knew, like, I was comfortable with Korean culture, all that stuff. But when I started teaching, I realized that the atmosphere is just completely different. For example, just realizing cultural differences in general and participating in those cultural differences is a lot more important when you're an English teacher in South Korea. Because when you study abroad, you're amongst other students, a lot of people around your age, and in my experience, most of the Koreans I came into contact with were Koreans who were used to being around foreigners, so it was easy to get away with not doing some of the Korean formalities sort of things. Like bowing, like how many times did I have to bow studying abroad? Honestly, like not very often. Here, being an English teacher, you bow to everybody every day, every time you see them. And it's like as common as just saying hello and waving your hand. Except in Korea, you bow, you bow, you bow. It might just be a nod of the head or like something like that, but still it's like I have to just keep bowing, and it's like, oh my gosh, I have never bowed so much in my life till I got here. And funny story, I have bowed so much in the last 3 months that finally I found, side note, I found a church here that I am planning on attending every week. The first week I went, we did like the greeting thing where it's like say good morning or whatever to the people around you, you know, that part of a church service. And the church I went to was an international church, so it was mostly other foreigners. And so even when it was amongst other foreigners and we did the greeting, I'd be like, shake your hand, a little bow, and it's like, I realized it right after I did it, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is like getting ingrained into my head now. And it's like, I suppose that's a good thing. Better safe than sorry sort of a thing. And also, not even the bowing, but just like cultural differences in general. You have to really be aware of the respect you need to give people in different positions, like the principal at your school, vice principal, just people older than you, and just be aware of like the different respect levels and stuff that you really didn't have to be too aware of studying abroad. So yeah, that's probably the biggest difference, is just that you have to like really participate in these cultural differences. And that list goes on. But also, one big thing, of course, is money. You are making a ton more money than you did when you studied abroad, because when you studied abroad, you were probably making very little money, if not any, probably not any money. But here you're making money and you can participate in the Korean economy, and it's like, it feels good. I mean, I'm sure it feels good for any college student for any student who gets out of college and finds their first real job and starts bringing in the cash every month, you know? Being in Korea with no money versus being in Korea with money, if you're like me, you like everything about Korean style and fashion and trends, and like, you're in this new country, you want to assimilate, you want people to look at you and be like, that girl has been here for a while. I mean, look at what she's wearing, she fits in, sort of a thing. And so I've had to put like a clothing budget in my monthly paycheck that I cannot go over, because in the beginning, it was like every weekend I would go shopping and just try to filter out my American styles to bring in the Korean styles. And studying abroad, a lot of the times I went to the small little stores like in Hongdae or anywhere, like where just the small little street stores where everything's like between 10,000 won to 20,000 won, $10 to $20. It was super cheap. But now I find that my taste has changed, just because I don't want those casual sort of sweatshirt, sweater type things. I want like stuff that can double up as just going with friends somewhere, and also teaching clothes, like just to kind of do that. And of course, all the nice sort of professional clothes. I've been going to some of the bigger chain stores. Like, they aren't the cheapest stores around, and so long story short, you spend a lot more money when you are here as an English teacher. At least in my situation, I spent a lot more money. But that's okay, because I'm also making more money, so you know what? That's fine with me. Another big difference between being an exchange student in Korea and teaching English in Korea is making friends. Making friends is a huge difference, because, at least in my experience, when I was an exchange student, our school really tried to form those friendships for us. And I mean, I had a ton of friends studying abroad, like more friends than I've ever had in my whole life when I studied abroad, quite honestly. Like, I was friends with like everybody in my exchange group. There were like 50 exchange students, and I knew each of them personally. And also the Korean students who were dormed in the same building with us, my suite mates who were Korean, and just my exchange partners who were Korean. I met so many people. Being a teacher, it's a bit different, because I mean, you're meeting all the teachers in your school, but maybe only a couple of them can speak English. And so outside of school, yeah, it's really a lot more difficult to make friends. You have to put in a lot more effort to go to like language meetups, maybe to get together with your friends from orientation who might be, even if you're in Seoul, the same city, you could be living like an hour apart from each other. So it can be really difficult, and especially if you don't speak Korean conversationally or anything like that, it can be especially hard to meet even Koreans. Like, you see so many people walking down the street, but it's like a little weird to just go up to a random person in the street and be like, hey, let's be friends, or 안녕, 친구가 되자. You probably can't speak like that when you first meet somebody. That's informal language, but you know what I mean. You can't just like meet so many people like you could when you studied abroad, sort of a thing. And so that's why I think studying abroad before coming to Korea as an English teacher helps a lot, because you are making those connections. Like in my case, like there are already like 4, something like that, people who are back in Korea after we studied abroad together, either as English teachers or grad students. And so I can meet them, the other Korean students I met while studying abroad. So I have my little network of communication. Also, like I said, the people you meet at orientation, those are the people you've already met. It's really, at least in my case, maybe I just haven't been trying because I have my kind of circle already, but it's really a lot more difficult to make new friends, I guess I should say. And on that note of friends, it's not something I've experienced yet, being only a couple months into my contract, not even a semester in, but there's the fact that people will be coming and going. It's kind of similar, I guess, to studying abroad, because when you study abroad, you'll say your final goodbye at the end of the semester or the year, and then who knows when you'll see them again. Here, like, even if you make friends with people in orientation or just other English teachers you've met in Korea, those friends, like, especially if you're planning on staying in Korea for a long time like me, those friends will not be around, will likely not be around for as long as you are. So like the teaching contracts are only a year. Some of your friends you make might leave after a year or 2 years or whatever, and then you'll be back to square one. Vacation days. You have like all summer break and all winter break as a student. As an EPIC teacher, you will not have all summer break and all winter break to take a vacation. You have, let's see, you have 10 vacation days in the winter, which you have to take when classes are not in session, and you have 8 vacation days in the summer, which again you have to take while your classes are not in session. Otherwise, if the students are on break and you have no classes, you're not using your vacation days that day, you just sit at school and you do your work for 8 hours. What kind of work? I don't know. You can get super far ahead in your lesson planning. You can probably, if you have really nothing to do, you could probably learn Korean. So yeah, I hope you found this video informative. If you have questions, please let me know. I have a lot of video plans in mind. We'll see when those video plans become a reality, but anyway, see you next time.